rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Oh, so we're sitting in the chat, the Rumble chat. You've got to go over to Rumble. I'm just telling you guys. I'm kind of kicking off a couple things. I've been noticing that especially things like X and YouTube are not getting very many views. Not that I really care. I mean, I do care. Obviously, I care for all of my listeners and watchers, but they really they don't gain the traffic that some of the other platforms like Facebook and X do. But Rumble is awesome because what Rumble does is Rumble allows me to open up the room and open up the chat early. And so what happens, most cases, not all the time, but most cases, you can jump in the chat and you can chat directly with me as I'm getting things set up. Now, there are days that I'm running behind and no, I don't necessarily jump into the chat. But there are days like today where I was a little early and therefore I was able to go ahead and jump in the chat. Now watch, I say that and I'm going to freaking miss something or have forgotten something. But anyway, I will, I'm able to like jump into the chat and interact. And tonight we were talking about things that people like to eat. We got on the subject of seafood and how some seafood, some of the best places for seafood. Now for me, and this is, by the way, this is like totally off topic, off subject. I mean, we're off the frickin' rails right now. We're so far off the rails, it's not even funny. But for me, for the seafood, it kind of depends on where you are as to what you're going to get. For example, you cannot, in my opinion, you cannot beat the Copper River salmon out of Alaska. You just can't. There's just no way. I mean, I've had Atlantic salmon, not as good. Okay? I just can't do it. It's the Alaska salmon and the Pacific Northwest salmon, to me, is like the best. When it comes to things like clams and lobster, lobster and clams are kind of like both Northeast U.S., Northwest U.S. Both of those are pretty good. Lobster, definitely, off the coast of Maine, where you would think of, okay? When you're talking about shrimp and scallops and those kinds of things, scallops are kind of like a Atlantic kind of thing for me. Shrimp would be Gulf, Atlantic kinds of areas. Crab, nothing better than Alaska crab, Alaska king crab, in my opinion. So, that's the Bering Sea kind of thing, all of that. And then you've got, in terms of some other things, like trout and bass, I eat those, but frog legs, forget it. I had them once. To me, I could taste the pond water that they came from, which was dirty pond water. Never will do that again. But like buffalo and elk, and we kind of got into some of that other stuff too. So anyway, the point is, this is a long story, but the point is that you got to get over to Rumble. You got to head over to rumble.com. Get yourself an account. It is free. And once you're signed up, make sure that you search up the American Perspective channel. Hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live. And you've got to jump in the chat early. Got to get in the chat, and you got to get in early because that way you can interact directly with me and the rest of my Whiskey Warrior P1s, the smartest listening audience in all of the ethosphere, I'm telling you. We've got international people. They are all over the place. I mean, you'll be able to chat with our Australian contingent, Becky, down in Australia. Yep. So you'll be able to chat internationally and get viewpoints from the down under. And it's a good day, mate. You know, I mean, you could say good day. I have a very bad thing with accents. I like to try them out, and I usually fail. But anyway, my southern accent is just absolutely horrible. But anyway, someday, yes, we will. All of the Whiskey Warrior P1s will all get together, and yeah. So, G just pointed out that he was in Jamaica and he ate a lot of cooked fish. And yeah, there is a lot of cooked fish. Yeah, the head is on. That is kind of difficult to sit there when you see the eyeball staring at you. Because here in America, we usually, cut the head off. It's not really usually a part of the fish, at least not when it's served. So yeah, we understand. I understand completely. All right, folks, enough about me. Let's get things moving here. So tonight, I think we have Bam. I think Bam's up. I think it is. I think it's Bam. Yeah, Bam's up for the pledge. Yep, she's over there in the green room. She just waved at me. She's over there in the green room warming up her vocal cords, doing the little humming thing. That kind of thing. And getting her vocal cords ready. So, if you are of mine, please stand, remove your hat if you're wearing one like me. Place your hand over your heart and follow along with Bam. We call her Bam Bam. Anyway, Bam, as she recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And, of course, I thank you, Bam, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file. Send it off to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will get you into the rotation. I have got 21 of these things. I want to get 26 by the end of 2026. So, and, maybe once we hit 26 of them, maybe I'll do a competition. We'll see who, in terms of the ranking, who has the, who's the cutest, who's the best rendition. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll do something like that. That would be an interesting, shall we say, competition. That would be interesting. We'll do like a little pageant. Who does the best pledge? Anyway, all you need to do is record yourself doing that and then attach it to an email. Send it off to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will be putting you into the rotation. If you do it using your phone, then what you can do is you can take that file, hit the share option, and you'll be able to send it to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. If the file ends up being too big for email, you can also just upload it to one of the wonderful sharing sites that we do have, like Google, Dropbox, Box. Get a link and just put that in the email. I'll go ahead and download it from you as well. So, there you go. Ms. T, what do you mean she hit the magic 300? The magic 300 what? Yeah, we'd have to figure that out. By the way, that's Outlaw Dogs. Outlaw Dogs has her own show. She does it at 2, or is it? Yes, at 2 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. Sometimes Saturdays. Occasionally you'll see her show up in the chat, but she does it over on Rumble as well. And it's kind of she hit 200 or 300 followers. Well, congratulations to her for that wonderful 300. I think I'm still hanging in the 700. 700 followers on mine, but anyway. But yeah, she is just She's fantastic. You got to head over there and check out her show. Monday through Friday, I believe, maybe Saturdays occasionally. I do see her pop up every once in a while on a Saturday. But anyway, head on over to that. And, I guess one of my unofficial producers, which those is what I refer to all of my longtime Whiskey Warrior P1s, just said I have 860 on Rumble. So thank you. Fantastic. Still looking for that $1,000, that 1K. So if you haven't subscribed, do that, please. Anyway. Alrighty. Let's talk about our sponsor for tonight. I am wearing one of their shirts. This is the shirt that we will forever know as the Fat Paws. This is the Fat Paws right here. Okay. It's the Liberty Bell. Let's see. Who's who? I know somebody else is on here. Oh, yeah. Abe Lincoln. The Liberty Bell Abe Lincoln shirt. You can go and check it out on. Oh, I got to get my act together here. I've already lost it. Anyway, you can go and check those out at theflagshirt.com. This is known on the show as the Fat Paws. That's the Liberty Bell Lincoln shirt. And it's right here at theflagshirt.com. Go and check them out. Grab their men's, women's, made in the USA, kids, accessories, all in the fantastic red, white, and blue. And as you can see on the video on their website, they are pushing America's 250th anniversary. That is this year. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful thing. I'm going to have to come up with a classic, just a fantastic show for the 4th of July celebration for the 250th anniversary, the 250th birthday of America, the greatest country that has ever graced this planet. But head on over to theflagshirt.com and check out even their America 250 stuff, man. You should really look at all of their America 250 shirts, too. And hats and other things that they have to celebrate the 250th anniversary. And if you order $75 or more of their product, you will receive free shipping from them. So order $75 of their product and earn free shipping from them all the time. But I know not everybody can order $75 or more of their product. I get it. You know, I understand. And so therefore, I'm going to help you out. If you head on over to flagshirt.americanperspective.online, that's flagshirt.americanperspective.online, you will be presented with a coupon code. Take that coupon code, copy and paste it into the promo code box at checkout at theflagshirt.com and get yourself $5 off your order. Go to flagshirt.americanperspective.online. That's flagshirt.americanperspective.online. Grab that coupon code that you're presented with, copy and paste it into the promo code box at checkout at theflagshirt.com and get yourself $5 off your order on American Perspective. Head on over to theflagshirt.com and get yourself patriotized. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is my commercial voice and commercial patter, is that good? Is that good? I don't know. Anyway. Oh, it's unimportant. What's more important is the fact that I give you facts and information and I explain things. That's what I'm here to do, and to entertain all at the same time. Just the fact that I have, commercials every once in a while, it just, yeah. Anyway, moving on. All right. Let's see here. Oh, yesterday I told you about the big announcement that Kamala Harris had, and, just like everything else that she's done, it was a much ado about nothing. And what's even worse is the fact that everybody on the social media, they all noticed it. They all noticed it. And what's even worse is her own damn party. Her own damn Democrats can't figure out what the hell she's doing. They have no idea. Well, guess what? All of you morons and idiots that are out there that are saying that Kamala Harris would have been a better president than Donald Trump, who already had been president and was a fantastic president the first time around and is even more fantastic this time around. because he actually learned a lot during his first presidency that he is applying to his second term in office, his second presidency. Yeah, they have absolutely no idea what the hell she's doing. Nobody knows. And, you know, I told you that they set up the account on X, the new account name on X, and she added the 67, which was, I guess, in a way, a boomer reference or a Gen X reference to children or younger the younger generation, I should say. Yeah, well, apparently they got enough flack over that because I guess 67 is now like so passé and so yesterday and so boomer that they went and changed the name again. And now it's headquarters 68 underscore instead of headquarters underscore 67. Yeah, she has no freaking clue what the hell she's doing. I don't know who her social media team is. I mean, me, I answer everything on social media. My social medias right now are controlled completely by me. So anything that you see on the social media, I posted it. Nobody else did. And I'm not saying that to try and brag about it. I'm just saying that that's the facts. And it's sort of like, you know, I'm not big enough, obviously, to have my own social media crew. She is, though. And oh my God, why even do this? Well, apparently she's trying to maybe get back into become relevant again, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, all right. I just noticed Outlaw Dogs popped in the chat. So really quick, Outlaw Dogs, congratulations on 300 subscribers. Congratulations on that. All right. Let's move on. You know, I don't think anybody really has a clear understanding. When I sit here and tell you that the leftist lunatics, and that includes the Democrats, okay, the leftist lunatics that are out there, that they are complete, utter, stupid morons. I don't think anybody really understands this. I'm not saying it, you know, I've been accused of, that's just name calling. You're just name calling. No, actually, I'm not. I'm stating facts. Because that's how I deal with things. I only deal in facts, black and white, evidence, logic, so on and so forth. And, yeah. Anyway. I'm not the only one that thinks that these people are stupid, especially people who have been in Congress for so long, like Chuck Schumer. Well, apparently Florida representative, and he's a Republican, Florida Representative Randy Fine delivered a blistering response yesterday to Senator Chuck Schumer and the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries' list of demands. I told you about those. The list of demands that came out from those two. They dropped a list of 10 demands late Wednesday night. We covered them, I think it was Thursday, and or yesterday, and included all the requirements that they were looking for. In particular, one of them being that they wanted the immigration officers to provide identification, forbid them from wearing face masks, and standardize their uniforms to make federal officers more noticeable from the civilians. Well, Fine decided to unload a little bit. He goes, they want ICE to be able to show IDs. I presume that means that they want voters to be able to show IDs when they go vote. Remember, the SAVE Act is coming up for a vote soon. He also says they say they don't want people to wear masks anymore. Well, I would assume that includes the Muslim terrorist protesters that we see all over our country who are hiding their faces. He goes, I mean, they want everybody to identify themselves. I assume that means that protesters should have a say as to who's paying them when they're out protesting. Look, and this is true. This is a true statement. He says, look, Democrats aren't smart. If they were, they wouldn't be Democrats. Oh, I'm on board with this guy. That's for sure. I'm on board with him. Absolutely. He continues and he says, and these demands are so ridiculous, particularly when you look at the logical fallacy that they only want to apply them in certain situations. Yeah. The congressman also claimed that Democrats want no enforcement of immigration laws because they cannot win elections without votes from illegal migrants, which is absolutely true. Okay? This guy says the goal is to stop deportation. The idea is that you make a set of demands that are so outrageous and so egregious, it's impossible to comply with them. Their goal is not to improve the deportation of illegal immigrants. Their goal is to stop all deportations for 3 reasons. Number 1, they can't win elections without illegals voting. Number 2, they'll lose so many key seats in Congress because Americans are leaving their blue states because they're sick of the craziness, and they're moving to places like Florida. And number 3, they need to grift from all the welfare scams that these illegal immigrants, read illegal aliens, are involved in to fund all the other nefarious activities they are involved in. Because they don't want better enforcement of immigration laws. They want no enforcement of immigration laws. This guy's got it handled. He knows. He knows about all of this. So anyway. I love it when they start breaking them down. And you know what's worse is, or what's better, actually, not what's worse, but what's better is when you get somebody the likes of a Greg Gutfeld who delivers a smackdown in his monologue. Now, this monologue is about 4 minutes and 40 seconds long, roughly, but, and you know, there's some pauses that are in there because he's thrown in some laugh lines, but I think it's really actually pretty good. Now, I'm not a Gutfeld watcher, okay? I really am not. But occasionally I do pick up on some of these when they come through in the news media. And I just got to say, this one was actually pretty good. Pretty good. So let's take it away, Greg.
All right, so you got to hand it to the Democrats. On one hand, they think a child can handle the decision to lop off their genitals, but then on the other, they think black people can't get a photo ID. Right, Chuck?
The SAVE Act is an abomination. It's Jim Crow 2.0 across the country. We are going to do everything we can to stop it.
Thanks for weighing in, Chuck. Now go back to your burrow where you smash mice with your giant forehead. So Dems are calling the SAVE Act Jim Crow 2.0, but if that were the case, they'd support it again. But to them, showing an ID to vote is no different than forcing people to drink from separate water fountains. Meanwhile, you need an ID to buy Sudafed, rent a U-Haul, and date Bill Belichick. Of course, everyone, blacks, whites, Hispanics, like voter ID.
85% of white people favor it, 82% of Latino, 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
And that was on CNN, which is like Dracula admitting he owns a tanning bed. But when Nicki Minaj, your grandma, and CNN's Pee Wee Herman agree on something, that's not Jim Crow. That's eating crow. Yeah. Thank you. Little twist of words there. But Democrats don't hate the SAVE Act because it's racist. They hate it because it creates something they can't compete with. Oversight. It's like putting a lock on the door. The people who already live in the house, they don't mind. But the people trying to break in start yelling about how locks divide people. Because locks keep everyone honest. And that's where we lose the Dems. When we start talking about honesty. Trying to find an honest person in that party is like trying to find a black singer on a Lawrence Welk rerun. Our audience gets that. But if your political strategy can't survive an audit, maybe your problem isn't the law, it's your party. It's as crooked as a picture hung on a wall by Kamala after happy hour. The same people who tell you borders are fake, gender is a choice, and crime is a social construct suddenly insist elections should be taken on faith. So yeah, call it Jim Crow. The rest of America is calling it sanity. And when sanity becomes controversial, you don't need an ID to check to know who the nut jobs are. For years, they told us voter ID was racist because minorities couldn't get IDs. I guess they've never been to the DMV. Most people that work there couldn't name an episode of Friends. Thank you. Thank you. That was pity applause. But Dems employ the soft racism of lowered expectations to forbid any oversight. So when the SAVE Act says, what if we had rules? They say, oh, no, rules will expose our own corruption. And it makes Dems argue against something universally accepted, like gravity or the sex appeal of Craig T. Nelson. Yeah. So the Dems are now threatening to filibuster over a simple requirement to show an ID. To which I say, why not? Let the Dems talk for 3 days straight. I can't think of anything less popular than hearing Cory Booker talk. And keep in mind, I know Jesse Waters. Oh. But if the Republicans get it to a vote, expect the media talking heads to tell you how racist we all are. And the loudest sobs you'll hear will be from the White House or the white saviors who can't believe minorities didn't let them save their poor, no ID souls. But if you believe an entire race needs you to save them, maybe you're the bigot. The SAVE Act isn't about stopping people from voting. It's about stopping people from cheating. It's the same reason they drug test me at Mr. Universe. Yeah. At least that's what the man told me when he demanded a cup of my urine.
Let's welcome okay. Good enough. Anyway, let's move on. So toward that end, you've been seeing some conversations, I'm sure, in the socials where a lot of the sycophantic leftist lunatics are all saying, oh my gosh, Donald Trump, MAGA, everything's failing. Everything's going away. MAGA, people are going away from Donald Trump. They really are. They're going away from him. Yeah, sure. I just sit here and say, yeah, don't believe the hype. You know, Dan Bongino, this was his first week back, and the last couple of episodes, he's been talking about the signal versus noise. Now, in my world, I know exactly what signal to noise ratio is. Okay? It's the difference between how loud the actual signal is in comparison to the background noise that's going on. In an RF world, that's radio frequency world, in an audio world, it's all the same. In telecommunications, it's all the same. You want to have your signal to be a certain level above the noise so that the message gets through. And that's essentially what the Democrats and the sycophantic media and the mainstream media and the leftist lunatics are all out there trying to do, is they're trying to make as much noise as possible. So the message, for an example, the message that CNN put out with regards to, hey, voter ID is an 80-20, 80-20 policy. Everybody wants it. Even Democrats want it. They 71% want it. Blacks, Hispanics, all kinds of people of color. Pretty much everybody wants voter ID and photo ID in order to vote here in America for your federal elections. But this is one of the things that, you need to understand. We can't succumb to all of those leftist, sycophantic, bot farm, everything that's going on the social media is talking about all of this, because we need to focus on the signal and not the noise. Now, that being said, Harry Enton is another one. And here we go. He has some good news for the MAGA.
So how much power, and we're talking about influence here.
Yeah.
Do they have on the GOP, especially over the long run?
Yeah, over the long run. That's what I think is so important here. And it's not just about Donald Trump. It's about the Make America movement. Again, that's what we're talking about, Make America Great Again movement. And it is as powerful as it has ever been. Because I want you to take a look here. GOP who view MAGA favorably. 2 years ago, when Donald Trump was running for term number 2, it was 74%. Today, look at this. It's 78% of Republicans who view the Make America Great Again movement favorably. So we're talking about something that, in my opinion, will very much be able to outlast Donald Trump. Trump is in term number 2. He can't run for a term number 3. But the bottom line is this. What he brought into the GOP looks like it's going to last long beyond him.
It's a very populist movement. I am curious because J.D. Vance would then be the next standard bearer of this movement. Where is the GOP on how they feel about him?
Yeah, okay. So, obviously J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, at this point looks like a favorite for the Republican nomination come 2028. And one of the reasons why he looks like a favorite is because the Republican base loves J.D. Vance. What are we talking about here? Someone who really represents the Make America Great Again movement. This is somebody a year ago, his favorable rating among Republicans, 81%. Latest Marquette University Law School poll, look at this, 84%. 84%. So if anything, his favorable rating is somewhat up from where it was a year ago after a year of Trump. And of course, that matches what we see when it comes to MAGA, right? It matches what we see coming to MAGA, whereby it was 74 and now it's 78%. If anything, MAGA's grip on the GOP, and it seems like the next in line to be the next standard bearer of MAGA, both of them, their favorable ratings are actually up after a year of Donald Trump's second term.
Yeah. So, regardless of what the leftist lunatics are saying out there, MAGA and the MAGA agenda is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Now, he went on after this clip to explain that, hey, Trump's influence isn't really going anywhere either. The majority of Republicans believe that he has been a positive force within the party. And there's a bunch of positive things that he has been doing just within his first year. He says, what about the question is, what about the idea, essentially, not just that Republicans like or love Donald Trump, but believe that he has been a good influence on the party? And he goes, look, say Trump has had a good effect on the GOP among Republicans. When he left after term number 1, it was 71%. Just before he was running, it was 62%. Now it's again 71% of Republicans who say that Donald Trump has had a good effect on the Republican Party. Folks, you got to understand. You got to understand. They are these folks, they're not going anywhere. Donald Trump, his effect on the GOP, the MAGA movement. I mean, this kind of a wave is so much better than the Tea Party was back in, 10, 15 years ago. Because we actually have somebody now who is charismatic, who has taken a bunch of hits. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to say that he's all sunshine and roses. He's not. But at the same time, though, the guy's a fighter. And he's getting hit. He's getting hit. And he keeps moving forward. He keeps getting hit. And he keeps going ahead. He's not going to quit. He's not going to disappear. He doesn't stop. And that, a lot of people respect. A lot of people respect. And I got to say, I appreciate that. No matter how many times he's been attacked, no matter how many times he's been knocked down, no matter how many times that he has been brought into court, he's been disparaged, he's been talked about, he's been accused of doing all kinds of things, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. And so he keeps moving forward. Now, all of that being said, as much as I would love to say that this coming around, I'll get to another thing here in just a moment on Donald Trump. But first, I need to do a shout out to T. Brooks. 123. Thank you so much for the Rumble rant. I do appreciate T. Brooks says, if you ever wonder how stupid people can be, just do a YouTube search called Brain Games, Stand Up, Sit Down. And you'll see. And I do appreciate it. Thank you very much for the Rumble rant. You're fantastic. All right. Well, I don't know if anybody saw this, but apparently there was a post by Donald Trump. And this is one of the things that, well, let's just be honest. If you really believe that Donald Trump is posting his own stuff 24/7, 365 on True Social, I got a bridge in Brooklyn or a Brooklyn bridge in Arizona that I can sell you. Because let's face it, he doesn't have time. He's not going to have time. Now, that being said, do I think that he does do posts? Yes. But I don't think every single post is his. Now, all of that being said, I would certainly hope that somebody on his staff would be a little smarter than whatever they did with this particular post. And I got to tell you, this is one of those things. The 3 Chevy calls it an own goal, which is true. Own goals, for those that don't watch soccer, own goals is when you kick the ball into your own net. And it counts as a point for the opposite team. And this one definitely counts as it. So take a look at this.
Initiated by a court order, the Michigan investigation team obtained forensic access to a DS-200 tabulator, the machine that counts the votes. A Telit 4G wireless chip manufactured in Taiwan was discovered embedded into the motherboard. The voting machine tapes clearly indicate modem engagement and transmission of election data. Some of the anomalies that we noticed in the 2020 general elections, that 5 key states all stopped counting at a certain time in these key battleground states. These were all where the software, the mini machines, ES&S machines were used, the Smartmatic, the GEMS software. So when the vote stopped counting, and this has been noted in other countries as well, President Trump was significantly ahead. When reporting and counting resumed, there was a massive spike occurred that favored Joe Biden.
Here's the problem. Right here is the issue. Now, the suggestion is that this was a screen recording, that they did, whoever posted this did a screen recording, because you can see in the video prior to this, you can see where they are, let's see. Yeah, right here, you can see up in the corner right above my head here. If you look right above my head, they're looking at something else. There's like a screen of a picture-in-picture sort of thing. Well, here's part of the problem. When you get to the end of this screen capture, it appears that there was an autoplay that kicked in that went to a, I don't know, made-up graphic video of Obama and his wife, Barack Obama and his wife, Michelle, having their heads placed on monkey bodies. And this was at the end of the video. Now, the way it popped up, and the way it pops up really quick, because let's be honest, it's not, subject matter, the subject matter of the video that was being played had to deal with like Georgia and election problems and so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden it just flashes, boom, right over to this, I don't know, obviously doctored video. And anyway, so the left, of course, and even some people on the right, and let's be honest, this is not something that you would want to put on your social media account, okay? This really isn't. Now, he has since taken it down, which I agree. However, it's a little difficult to try and explain to people who are essentially sycophantic dumbasses that no, Donald Trump actually is not racist. He does not think of these two as this, so on and so forth. So again, look, it's a staffer. A staffer did it. A staffer shouldn't have done it. A staffer should have been a little more cognizant of what was following. But yeah. So here, actually, you can see also, too, that the video of the Obamas is from an account, a watermarked account called Xerius X. That's XERIAS_X. So I don't know. I don't know if this was like it looks like it's an autoplay. I don't think that they immediately, meant to put this on, but whoever owns the Xerius X account is obviously taking credit for this part of the video. And that's who should be blamed, not necessarily Donald Trump. Now, again, it's an own goal. It's a stupid own goal. And, yeah. And by the way, 3 Chevy points out in the chat, he's like, well, you have the left that cuts off Trump's head and holds it up. Yeah, that's the, what's her freaking name? I don't know. The redheaded, supposedly, comedian who did it. And everybody's okay with that. Or all of the videos of and the memes of Charlie Kirk getting shot in the neck. All of that's okay. But God forbid that somebody makes a mistake and puts that out. Now, honestly, I'm not on board with that. I'm not on board with the whole idea of them, coming from monkeys. Because that's not right. That's not proper. And I don't care who you are. I'm never going to mean that in that sense. Okay, it's never going to be. I'm not going to do that because that is just totally bad. But it really is pretty bad that you have, the president, and unfortunately the president's own account pop that in. So anyway, well, when we want to talk about stupid. When we want to talk about stupid, there's a few people in Congress who are definitely stupid. And when you go up against somebody like, I don't know, Scott Bessent, who is a incredibly intelligent individual, especially in his own lane when it comes to things like economy and that kind of stuff, well, yeah, let's just say it doesn't go very well. Here, he's going up against Maxine Waters. And let's be honest, whenever you're in one of these things, whenever you're in one of these congressional hearings, it's not about getting to the truth. It's not about getting answers. It's about grandstanding. And that's pretty much all it is it's about grandstanding. But here, let's go ahead and take a listen to Maxine, prune face Maxine.
10 and 20 million immigrants.
Can you
took
shut
up the housing stock of working Americans, and can you maintain some level of dignity?
Gentleman's time has expired.
Yeah. Oh, he basically asked that question. Hey, can you maintain a level of decorum here? Anyway. And it keeps going. Here he's up against Van Hollen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, I think you would agree that the credibility of the Secretary of the Treasury is important, and I want to give you a chance to retract a statement that you made on national TV. Alex Preddy was shot 10 times and killed by federal agents in Minneapolis. The administration, some administration called him a, quote, domestic terrorist. You suggested that Alex Preddy was culpable in his own killing because he had a gun in his waistband holster, which he was licensed to carry. When asked, you said, quote, I'm sorry this gentleman is dead, but, and you went on to say he had a weapon, suggesting that he was culpable in his own killing. So, Mr. Secretary, today, would you like to retract that statement?
I would not. And would you like to express remorse over the death of Ashley Babbitt here in the Capitol?
Oh, I have expressed remorse over that. So I've done that, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Secretary, please don't. So you think, I have other questions, but I actually would have expected you to take this opportunity to rephrase your response to that question. So you think the fact that he legally had a gun justified his killing?
I didn't say that at all.
You said, do you think he was culpable, partly to blame in his own killing because he had a gun?
I did not say that.
I'm asking you a question now. Do you believe he was in any way culpable for his own killing because he legally carried a gun?
Again, this is an FSOC hearing.
Yeah.
So,
but you're the Secretary of the Treasury.
Why don't we talk about financial stability and oversight?
I'm happy to, Mr. Secretary, but your credibility is important. And in that response, you really, I think, let down the country because we expect honesty after that kind of terrible tragedy. Let me.
Okay, so let's talk honesty, Mr. Van Hollen, and let's be completely honest. Domestic terrorism. Oh, you know what? I wasn't really ready for this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. Cornell law, domestic terrorism. Here we go. All right, let's just see. Oh, yeah. Oh, let's take a look here. Well, let's just see. Let's just take a close look at this. This is from Cornell Law. And, yeah. It says right here, domestic terrorism. The term domestic terrorism means, and by the way, this is coming from 18 United States Code, Section 2331, subsection 5. The term domestic terrorism means activities that involve dangerous acts to human life that are in violation of the criminal laws of the United States or of any state. Hello? He's carrying a weapon. He attacked, in the past, he has attacked and assaulted federal ICE agents. What part of this, and by assault, I mean he spit on them, which is by legal definition assault. Okay, he's carrying a weapon. His weapon, by the way, in terms of the minute that he committed a criminal act, that throws his permit in Minnesota, his ability to carry his weapon concealed in Minnesota under the permit carry laws, it immediately throws it out. So there you go. Now, here's another part of it where his actions appear to be intended to intimidate or coerce the civilian population, to influence the policy of government by intimidation or coercion, or affect the conduct of a government by mass destruction, assassination, kidnapping, or C, occur primarily within the territorial jurisdiction of the United States. Folks, there's the definition. I mean, I'm not the one creating this definition. That is it right there. Legally, he and good, Pretty and good, legally are domestic terrorists. Simple. That's it. It's over. We're done. On that point, well, let's move on. So, Senator Raphael Warnock jumped in, and this is another idiot. He jumped in, and let's go ahead and take a look at what happened here. So, let's just take a listen to this.
110% from last year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Warnock.
Thank you, Chair Scott, and welcome, Secretary Bessent. President Trump promised that his administration would usher in a, quote, golden age of American manufacturing. In September 2024, at a rally in my home state of Georgia, Donald Trump said, quote, "We're going to have a manufacturing boom." Secretary Bessent, we're now more than 1 year into the Trump administration. Yes or no? Has there been a manufacturing boom in the United States?
There are the beginnings of a manufacturing boom. We have intentions, factory groundbreakings, sir.
So your answer to that is yes, there's been a manufacturing boom?
That we are at the beginning of a manufacturing boom.
Okay, you and I could agree to disagree. But more importantly, manufacturers are telling us something different. Manufacturers are struggling because of the president's policies, and that's what they keep telling us, and the facts keep telling us. In fact, just this past Monday, the Wall Street Journal published this article entitled, "U.S. Manufacturing is in Retreat, and Trump's tariffs aren't helping." I request consent to enter this article into the hearing record. Mr. Chairman?
Without objection.
Secretary Bessent, do you know how many manufacturing jobs the United States has lost since Liberation Day in April 2025, when the president first announced his tariffs?
Yes, Senator, because you were out of the room, but it was already brought up.
We do many things, sir. I don't need you to tell me where I was.
72,000, and I will point out that the Wall Street Journal
72,000
is not called the Main Street Journal, and they care more about Wall Street than Main Street.
Sir, I'm not asking you to opine on the Wall Street Journal. I have 3 minutes. Just answer the questions that I'm actually asking you. So 72,000 manufacturing jobs, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis.
So this goes on a little bit, and of course Warnock, tries to catch him, and yeah. Anyway, that didn't go very well on tariffs and job creation. You can go and take a look at this, but it's even more so. You got to understand, going up against a guy like Bessent, you got to have your stuff in line. And especially when you're going up against somebody like, I don't know, Senator Warren, who's a complete, utter, stupid moron.
The president also made a joke about you that I won't repeat, Senator Warren.
That was the
actually, I will. He said he had reservations.
If this was a joke, why not just say so?
It was a joke, and he made a joke about you too, Senator Warren.
Yes,
got a lot of laughs. A lot of laughs.
Yeah.
So,
Senator Warren claims that she knows about the economy. She doesn't know anything about the economy.
Senator, it may be a bit nuanced for you, but what President Trump is referring to is the media saying that the affordability crisis was generated by this administration when it was you and President Biden who destroyed the buying power of the American people. So there is an affordability crisis, and you were front and center in it.
So let me make sure that I understand. Donald Trump is not saying that affordability, what's happening to families right now, is a hoax?
He is saying that trying to lay the blame at this administration rather than the Biden-Warren economy is a hoax.
Okay, so...
Yeah, and that's the whole point. We're 1 year into an administration. You can't go and attack stuff like this at all. Well, I've got more for you. I'm running out of time here, but I got one more for you. I got to tell you, the one thing that is really scary is them sitting here. Okay. And by them, I mean the leftist sycophantic morons, the Marxist idiots that are running around and are yelling and screaming and saying that Trump is authoritarian and all of this other thing when they themselves tell you what they want to do with businesses. Now, in this particular case, this is a hat tip to Nate Friedman, by the way. This guy is apparently a New Yorker, and he's teaching kids in the New York public school system. And let's just say that he is, a little totalitarian on his views of businesses and billionaires leaving New York because of the additional taxes and regulations that have been being put on by none other than Zohran Mamdani.
What do you say to those folks who say, well, if you tax millionaires, they're going to leave the city, and the top 1% pays 40% of the taxes in the city, so what happens if they leave? What's your response?
Well, that's what I would say. It's like we should take their business, and we run it like for the city ourselves.
So if they take their business to Florida, you feel like you can keep it here?
I mean, they can't leave the building. They can't just bring their whole entire workforce to Florida, right? They can't bring all of the resources that they have to build the business here to Florida, right? That's a whole thing. And that's where you would even say, if we're building a real movement, right, to stop that, we'd also make it illegal for them to actually leave, right? We would.
Wait. They're going to make it illegal? I thought that Democrats were the party of freedom, that were the party of, everybody does whatever they want, however they want to do it. I thought Democrats were the party of, we can do just whatever. Yeah. Here, let's continue.
Find them to hell if they're going to try to abandon their property here, right? Because clearly people do need to work, right? People do need to make a living.
So that's Charles Barry, and while that might have been one of the craziest things I've ever heard in hundreds of street interviews, what matters more is that he's a teacher for New York Public Schools. Imagine that garbage being spewed in your kid's class.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, Trump's the totalitarian. Trump's the guy. Vance is going to be even worse. He's a totalitarian. Yeah, right. We're going to tax them. We're going to make it illegal for them to leave. Yeah. We're going to make it legal for them to leave. And even Newsom's like, hey, if you guys take off, and keep in mind, they already put this in. They're talking about doing a law in California that's going to tax, billionaires. It's a wealth tax. And if you leave California before the bill goes into, or before the law goes into effect, you're still going to get taxed if you were living there prior to January 1st of this year. So, yeah. Speaking of Zohran Mamdani, the reality is coming to roost for those people who voted for his ass, and he actually doesn't know what the hell to do. There's a couple of things that are going on. One, the garbage is not being picked up. They've got packs and packs of garbage that are stacked 6 foot high on the curb. Now, granted, I've been to New York, and yes, all of the garbage gets thrown out onto the curb at night, but it's usually picked up overnight. And then they, you don't see it in the morning. Well, apparently the streets, snow and everything have kind of kept people from getting their garbage picked up. And of course, Zohran Mamdani has no idea what to do with it. Well, it's not only that, but apparently now, according to Breitbart, tens of thousands of New York City residents made calls reporting a lack of heat and hot water in January, with several private and public housing tenants telling the New York Post that they are stuck in unlivable conditions and are blaming the Muslim socialist Zohran Mamdani for failing to respond to the crisis. Approximately 80,000 New Yorkers called 311 last night, the highest monthly total on record, reporting a lack of heat and hot water during the frigid temperatures below 10 degrees. According to the report, tenants throughout the city reported days without heat, freezing cold showers, and overnight shutoffs. One person told the publication, "We've had over 40 days with no hot water for over the last 11 months, and now we're on day 8 and 9 straight of no hot water. I had to walk 15 minutes in the snow and ice to a friend's house so I could shower." And this is what's going on in New York City. They voted for this, folks. They voted for this. And I'm telling you right now, folks, they're just saying, they are exactly who we thought they were. They're liars. They're cheaters. They're promisers of dreams and pie in the sky. They have no idea whatsoever in terms of economics, how economics works. They have zero experience in understanding how the real world actually works. And they are exactly who we think they are and who we've told you they are. And this is just a smattering of the examples of how stupid these Democrats actually are. So yes, when I tell you that you are a complete and utter stupid moron, I am not calling you a name. I am simply stating facts. And that's it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure that you hit search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time that I go live. Also, too, don't forget, hit those thumbs up, thumbs downs, or thumbs sideways if you're 3 Chevy across all of my platforms. We will see you tomorrow night, 1 hour later, because it's Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.